Welcome to Main Street here in Clarion. We're at the Haskell House for the Main Street Sports Show, sponsored by Redbank Chevrolet and Dubrook. I'm Nate Steis, joined by Brock Jordan. Brock, how you doing tonight? It's great to be here with you in studio for the first time ever for me.
Yeah, it's a great night. It's always fun here to do the show. I'm usually back there behind the computer. I've been up in front of the camera once, but it's really fun to do this, really laid back, kind of a very fun experience. But yeah, tonight we're going to be talking really just all sports. We're going to have some high school coverage for you tonight. We'll dive into some college, professional, and it's just October 1st, great time of year to be a sports fan. One of the best times. Maybe the only other time that could be better is March. I'll say that because I'm a basketball fan, but yeah, MLB playoffs underway, and NFL, we getting ready for week 5 now already. High school football, midway through the season, really gearing in. So it's gonna be a fun couple weeks here, and we're getting ready for playoff time too. So it's gonna be a real fun time.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is one of my favorite times of year as well. I'm born on September 22nd, so I'm a fall baby. I'm biased, but I think this is a great time of year. October is awesome with all the fall sports playoffs in high school, obviously college football in full swing, NFL in full swing, volleyball, soccer as well. So yeah, we're going to start with some District 9 football coverage and then go into the other sports as well. So Brock, there's some teams that have really stood out, amongst the group this year. There's a lot of really competitive programs here in District 9, especially this year. A lot have risen to the occasion. So let's start with one right off the cusp here in Punxsutawney. I think some people knew that this was going to be a good team, but really I think they also have surprised some people along the way. Undefeated season. What do you think about Punxsutawney?
So I had the pleasure of getting to work with Punxsutawney at Media Day. And I'll tell you what, you could kind of tell, Coach Schneider, he was obviously every coach going to be humble about everything. But as we kind of got closer to the season, we started hearing whispers. This Punxsutawney team, they're going to be tough. They have Bo Thomas. He's offensive weapon everywhere, but defensively, that's where I think he really shines. We talked about their quarterback competition. It's unfortunately not a competition anymore. The quarterback did get hurt week 1, but Maddox Hetrick stepped in, has had a great season so far. Honestly, we've broadcasted a couple of their games. One of my favorite quarterbacks really to watch play. He's not afraid to put the shoulder down, take a hit, and he's got a great arm on him too. But no, you're absolutely right. Punxsutawney is one of those teams that it's not necessarily a surprise, but some of the games that they have played, I think, have been impressive to some that didn't expect it. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is one of the best Punxsy teams maybe ever, especially in recent years. They're off to a fantastic start. 2 wins over Du Bois, wins over Carson City. Not easy to do. This is really good football down here in the southern part of District 9. But let's talk about the northern part as well. Port Allegheny, they are winners of 20 of 21 football games. Their only loss is in the state championship game amongst those defeats. I saw them last week. I was on the call for B94 with my partner, Mark Martinez. We saw the Dutchmen of St. Mary's, Brock. They gutted out a really, really great effort. They've come up just short, but Port Allegheny, they found ways to win, and that's what good teams do. They really, really do that a lot. And Port Allegheny is a dang good football team. In single A, there's no doubt right now they're still the team to beat. But, Brock, there's a lot of teams around the district, and especially down here in Clarion County, that they want their seat at the table too. They want their respect. Let's talk about Clarion County and just the single A side of things. Talk about how good Clarion County is this year. It's been maybe the best widespread and that it's maybe ever been, or in a long time, really.
And that's exactly what we've talked about really all season long. It's not necessarily the lack of talent around here that has made it competitive. It's more the fact that there's so much more talent around these districts that the southern part of Clarion County has been so much fun so far to coverage this year. You have Union AC Valley off to an undefeated start. They play Kane this week, where I believe they can clinch their region crown if they beat Kane this weekend.
Wow.
Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. And just other teams in general around here, Redbank Valley, they played with Port Allegheny for a half, maybe even 3 quarters.
Sure did.
It was a game that Redbank Valley had circled on their schedule all year long.
Absolutely.
And I think for the most part, they should have been relatively happy with how they kept up with that Port Allegheny team. You know, they're an offense that can put up the points.
Yeah.
Keystone, great team. We've covered them a couple times this year. They have had a couple battles with Union, AC Valley, Central Clarion, 2 great games to have been at. Mm-hmm. They're another team that can make some noise, not a team that I'd want to really draw even if they don't get a top 2-3 seed. It's not a team that I'm going in as an upper seed thinking we have this one. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, just southern part of Clarion County and then Central Clarion. You know, it's hard to follow up a season like they had last year. But the games that they have lost are games that I think defensively we've seen them really still play to their expectations. And offensively, they're still finding their footing. But Carter Hindman had a big game last week in the loss to Karn City. They're still figuring some things out. But I think you'll see these last four weeks of the season or so for them that I think offensively that you're going to see Clarion start to get into their scoring mode.
Yeah, they still have many guys that are all state coming back. You know, they just have to find their footing. And, you know, they're like you said, you know, about Keystone. I don't want to see Central Clarion either, and I don't want to see Redbank Valley either, especially as a first-round matchup. That could be a tough night. I do want to talk about, you know, kind of my coverage area in District 9 is McKean County and, of course, Elk County, where I'm from. I think in Elk County, there's only 2 football teams now. It's kind of crazy. There's 4 schools, only 2 football teams. There's 2 co-ops. You know, Elk Catholic and St. Mary's play football together. Johnsonburg and Ridgeway, they play football together. There's 2 and 4 football teams. They have also not played their best football yet this year, but they have really taken strides, and especially last week, 6-point loss for St. Mary's against Port Allegheny. Ridgeway, 41-0 blowout over Cameron County, who was 4-1 going into that game. So for Elk County as well, those are 2 other teams that I really wouldn't want to see either. And I think that just goes back to the point that this is some of the best, you know, football District 9 has really had widespread in a long time. You know, there was some teams for many years, and they still are the juggernauts, you know, the Central Clarions, the Karn Cities. They've had their years. They've been good for, feels like forever, our whole lives, truthfully. But there's other teams that have caught up, and the talent is not just on those programs. These programs have really come together, and they're fighting against these top programs. Nothing's a guarantee anymore, Brock, not at all.
Nope, no, absolutely not. And then, you know, kind of flipping the script from football here, started getting into some volleyball. Clarion County, Southern District 9. Another district that we're seeing a very competitive balance here.
Right.
Keystone looks to be the team to beat this year so far. You still have your Clarion, who's just every year in the hunt. CL has really improved their program over the last couple years where they are now a powerhouse. We've watched AC Valley, we've watched North Clarion, we've watched Redbank, we've watched Union. And let me tell you, just all 4 of those teams are, any given night, they could come out and beat one of the top teams. And especially, I think North Clarion, kind of talking about teams that if they're in the playoffs, you don't want to draw them in the first round. That North Clarion team, they have a lot of heart. We've watched them twice so far this year. But just a couple things here before we go to our first break. District 9 golf. Keystone had a massive year. They came out with the KSAC matchup winner. Joe Rapp from AC Valley, Union AC Valley's co-op program, I believe was in 2nd place there. And I believe he, after day 1, was leading the district match. Soccer, just cover it real quick. North Clarion boys, they are killing it. I haven't heard whether they're still undefeated or not, but I believe they still are. And it's just been a great year, especially in Clarion County, for all sports this fall.
Absolutely. Yeah, it just speaks to the balance of power. So, you know, it's been really cool to see and follow this. Obviously, being an Elk County native, you know, I don't follow it because I don't see it, but you are immersed in it, and Clarion County certainly does have a lot of great programs. You're watching the Main Street Sports Show, sponsored by Redbank Chevrolet and Dubrook. I'm Nate Steis. This is Brock Jordan. We're going to take a break real quick. We'll be right back.
Redbank Chevrolet, Clarion County's trusted vehicle dealer. At Redbank Chevrolet, we're more than just a dealership. We're your neighbors, your go-to team for everything Chevy. From the moment you walk through our doors, we're here to exceed your expectations with unbeatable service, great selection, and a fun car buying experience. Stop by or schedule your visit today. Together, let's drive.
Since 1946, we've delivered. From commercial to residential, we've got you covered. We proudly serve and support our local communities. Call Call 844-DO-BROOK or visit us online. Do-Brook, your trusted ready-mix concrete supplier.
At Clarion Forest VNA, we bring compassionate care to your doorstep. From skilled nursing to hospice services, we're here for you and your loved ones. Clarion Forest VNA, your trusted partner in home health care.
Good luck to all of our area teams from Clarion Ford Chrysler.
Local sales team, local owners.
And remember to buy local at Clarion Ford Chrysler, where all your money stays to the local community.
Modern Living Solutions in Knox is always on the lookout for driven, positive individuals to join their team. They offer career growth opportunities and industry-leading pay. No experience is necessary as training is provided. Apply today and build a future with Modern Living Solutions.
You can afford a gorgeous, custom-designed hardwood Kales kitchen for a lot less than you'd pay at a DIY store. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. At Kales, there are never middleman markups or hidden charges that can add 40%. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. That's FactoryDirectKitchens.net.
For over 50 years, Carly Tire and Clarion has been keeping you rolling with quality tires for all your driving needs. And now, we're more than just tires. From state inspections to oil changes to brakes and total car care, Carly Tire is your one-stop shop to keep your vehicle safe and running smooth. Experience hometown service you can trust and quality you can count on. Carly Tire, the area's largest selection of tires. Stop in today and see why Clarion has trusted us for over 50 years.
Our focus has always been on you at Clarion County Community Bank. We're a full-service bank that offers the financial tools you need and the personal attention you deserve. You'll discover we're not just investing in our community, we're investing in you. Clarion County Community Bank.
Your eyes are the window to your soul, so take care of them. The Laurel Eye Clinic provides complete care from annual exams, glasses and contacts to cataract and retinal surgery, LASIK, and more. As a trusted leader in family eye care for 50 years, you can trust them with yours. Call or visit us online today.
Need reliable plumbing or heating services? Call Luton's Plumbing and Heating. Fast, friendly, and available 24/7. Call them at 814-226-8695.
Hi, my name is Jason and welcome to Sweet Basil. Come on in.
Okay, we're back here at the Haskell House at the Redbank Chevrolet Main Street Sports Show, also sponsored by Do-Brook. This is Brock Jordan here with Nate Steis, my co-host tonight. And, you know, kind of going on from high school football, we're going to look at college football now. And it's been kind of a fun year, especially locally. Clarion, Penn West Clarion, sorry. I started when it was Clarion, so.
Right.
But 4-1, I believe. Coming off a tough loss to Edinburgh that, you know, saw them down to their third string quarterback, which, crazily enough, Central Clarion hey, it's not just we're playing inferior teams. They played a very good Shepherd team, who the week before played with Slippery Rock.
Right.
And Slippery Rock has been one of those teams in the area that's just been one of the heavy favorites in the last few years. Right. And then last week at Edinburgh, like we said, it was 21-20. Just kind of you go through three quarterbacks in a game, not really the best sort of scenario to be held out for you. Just talk about what you've kind of seen from Clarion so far this year.
Yeah. You know, like you said, Mountain East football, well-rounded, not quite as good as the PSAC in my personal opinion. They have some good teams. They've had some teams that are ranked in the top 25, but the bottom is very much down. You know, I won't mention names or anything, but yeah, you can check their schedule for yourself to talk about that. But yes, really good win over Shepherd. You know, Shepherd, Tyson Bajan, for those who don't know, Tyson Bajan is the backup quarterback for the Chicago Bears. He went to Shepherd a few years ago. All-time leading touchdown thrower amongst all NCAA of any level. The guy can really flat out play. He took them to the NCAA Division II football semifinals a few years ago. So Shepherd has really been a really good team in the last few years as well. They also beat Shippensburg. Shippensburg, a very, very solid team in the PSAC, usually year over year as well. A team that can definitely upset some people, and they've been pretty good in their own right in recent years as well. But yeah, back to Clarion. 4-1. This is the best start they've had in a decade. 2015, this was their last winning season. They've had some really tough years. They have a great coaching staff that they've brought in. They've got transfers from truly all around the country. They've brought some really, really good guys in. And then they also have the local flavor. It's not just the Jace Fergusons from Clarion, which we love. We adore that. We're so happy for the young man. But we're happy for folks that they're getting from Meadville. They're getting from Erie. They're getting from Pittsburgh. So they've had a nice mix of players here, a little bit of homegrown and a little bit of flavor from elsewhere. And it's been a really good mix for them. In the past couple years under this current coaching staff, they've not been as good as their record says. The record's, 3-8. They're a better football team than 3-8. And I think some people know that. If you really watch it, you really follow it, you saw some of the ways that they are losing, Brock.
Yeah.
Flukes, some Hail Marys,
Yeah.
One, a turnover here cost them, things like that. They've been better than what their record is showing. And it's good to see the Golden Eagles proving that they're better than what their record has shown. And they're just 2 wins away from a winning record. And they have these games coming up against Gannon, against Seton Hill, Autumn Leaf Festival, homecoming weekend, that could get them over the top. If they play their brand of football, they could have their first winning season in a decade. It's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, and I just graduated from Clarion last spring, and I had some classes with some of the guys on the football team. It was one of those things where, we're still 3-8, but you could really feel on campus when you talked to them, when they were talking about their games, you could really feel the culture start to be built.
Right.
And you knew that, like you said, that 3-8 record they were not a 3-8 football
Absolutely.
team. And you kind of started to feel that, there was a lot of passionate guys on that team, and you could feel kind of the wave turning. And I'm just glad to see that they're, back to a brand of football where, hey, we're talking about Clarion University football again. And it's just nice to see that those guys have bought into the system, bought into the coaching staff, and they're here to play some football.
Absolutely. Yeah, Raymond Monica done a great job. This is a guy that's no stranger to the PSAC. He coached at Kutztown, did a great job. He's been in the national playoffs at Kutztown. Took a break. He went south to Arkansas Tech, had some success there as well. Clarion, he's bringing the Golden Eagles back. This is a program that's done some really good things in the past. They've been down in recent years. It's well documented. But Coach Monica's done a really, really good job, and his staff, to get the right guys in, to get the local guys to stay, and then get the nice mix of people from around the country and also locally to make a really good team that really has pride in the school that they're with. It's tough that they dropped to a rival, Penn West, University Edinburgh. But I'll tell you what, it's never great, like you said, when you have 3 quarterbacks playing in a game. You also go on the road in a rivalry game. And I'm an Edinburgh alumni with my master's degree. So Harrison Stadium's a really, really tough environment to play. You got some really, really passionate fans up there. They do, pretty special things at Edinburgh. They're a tough place to play. I know that they struggle offensively as well, but it's really. So, Clarion dropped that one, but they get back on track. They could win the next 2 easily and have a winning season for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just to kind of jump to some Pitt and Penn State here. I know Jake's probably going to cover his ears for this segment because I know he's a big Penn State fan, I think. We won't talk about that, though. Penn State, tough loss against Oregon. One that I think a lot of people could have expected to go either way. A lot of hype around the game. College game day was there. I think most of the panel actually picked Penn State to win the game, which maybe there's a curse there, maybe there's not. Who knows?
Yeah.
I think Drew Aller at the beginning of the season was really probably one of the favorites to be a top 5 pick in the draft. I think he was really the quarterback that everybody kind of thought, hey, a couple big wins under his belt this year, and he's probably going to be a top 5 pick. Not so sure now. He's really not playing well in the big games. He's doing what he needs to do to stay competitive, but an Oregon team, he's not beating them. I know we have slated on here to talk about James Franklin, who I just don't think has won a big game. Maybe a few here and there, but just Penn State, they're just really trying to find that one win that gets them over the hump.
You can't hold on to a win for a decade. You can't hold on to a blocked field goal win in the rain in Beaver Stadium against Ohio State. It's time to move on. It's time to get one that is another signature win. I'm sorry, beating SMU in the playoffs is not really a signature win. Beating Boise State in the playoffs is not a signature win. There were flaws to that system. Truthfully, there were flaws to it. We took advantage of it. We probably should have won a third game, truthfully, if you're a Penn State fan. You know we should have won a third game against Notre Dame. We probably blew that. That would have been the signature win. You're still searching for it. You think you could get it against Oregon. It's a whiteout. Oregon came across the country. You know, this is not the same Oregon team. They went undefeated last year. They lost a lot of players. They lost their quarterback, Dylan Gabriel, finished third in the Heisman voting, I believe. And they walk into Penn State, and they beat Penn State. They took it to them, early on, in the second half. It took a Penn State comeback to force overtime, and then Oregon got it done in overtime. But let's talk about the stats of James Franklin. Let's be frank about James Franklin. 4-20 against top 10 teams. Top 5 teams, 1-15 in those matchups. He's also amongst the worst coaches in the poll era against the top 10 and the top 5. He's 1-10 against Penn State. He's 3-7 against Michigan. His combined record against them is 4-17 overall. He's not getting it done, Brock. Plain and simple. He's not a big game coach right now.
He's not. And like you said, those signature wins are what, back when it was a 4-team playoff, those signature wins were what got you into that playoff. Now with what, I think it's a 12 team now or 16?
12 for now
and then moving to 16, yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Those signature wins don't matter as much anymore, but you still have to win them. I mean, It's not one of those things where, oh, hey, we lost to Ohio State this week, but we're still going to get into the playoffs. Right. And I think there's some teams that do use that attitude to say, well, we're a playoff team. And when it comes to college football on a national level, you're not winning a championship with that mentality. You're just not. Like you said, you can't hold on to wins 10 years ago.
Absolutely.
And they're just, it's hard to tell. They've got a good running back duo. They've got what we thought was going to be a Heisman front runner, top 5 pick at quarterback. Yeah. Their defense is always relatively top half of the country, top quarter of the country in defense. I mean, it's just odd that they can't get over the hump, and you start to really turn, and that seat's probably starting to get as hot as it's ever been for Franklin.
Right. Yeah, he signed a 10-year extension a few years ago. He has a Penn State-friendly buyout now, so it makes you wonder if they are going to consider this. If they do, God forbid, they lose against Indiana and against Ohio State, which they haven't won in the horseshoe in a decade plus now. So you're not thinking that they're probably going to do it this year. You really hope and you pray about it if you're a Penn State fan, but you're not thinking optimistically at this point. They haven't done it in such a long time. Indiana is a great football team. They're well coached. They've really used the transfer portal and experience to their advantage. And Mendoza's a great quarterback. He's had a great season so far. They've gutted out some wins. They blew out Illinois, who was still has a chance to be a playoff team as well. They beat an Iowa team that's a gutty, grinder sort of team. So those are huge wins. So Indiana, they're a team that could give Penn State fits, truthfully. And if they lose 2 more games, Brock, they're probably not making it.
Nope.
I'll also say this. Kotonecki, their offensive coordinator, he's supposed to be the guy they bring in to get this system right for Drew Aller. He's supposed to be the guy that they can design this system around for Drew Aller, and he can become, the top 5 pick that we're alluding to. He has not changed it. It's still an RPO-heavy offense. They're making a 6'5", 240-pound quarterback try to be Josh Allen out there, and he's not. He's a drop-back passer, pocket passer that has a little bit of mobility, but is not a guy that gets downhill well. When Drew Aller's running the ball 10 to 12 times against Oregon, and your running backs are only getting 70, 75 yards combined in those games, it's not a great recipe for success. It's truly not. You're putting a lot of pressure on Drew Aller in a system that he's probably not built for, and then the offensive line is not executing up front to open up those holes for that two-headed monster in Singleton and Allen. It's just not been a great formula for Penn State. So what has to happen is James Franklin truly just has to get it done, point blank. Anyway, anyhow. It's desperation time. You can't have this anymore. You have to get a win, or your seat is burning hot, I truly think, by season's end if you lose to Indiana and Ohio State.
Yeah, and then another team that maybe has a coach on the hot seat, Pitt. Narduzzi, Pitt's another one of those teams where, we haven't expected them to be the powerhouse that Penn State is, but we've had seasons lately where we've expected them to kind of see that competition in the ACC, and they just aren't getting it done. They've had a couple good years here and there, but Narduzzi, he's another guy that's just not getting it done. So we'll just cover that real quick, but now kind of the full outlook on college football.
Right.
And It's kind of there's been some shifting around, not really some unexpected things. I think one of the biggest unexpected things is Texas and Arch Manning.
Sure.
But just to start out, last week, another game that I think a lot of people believe should have been on game day, Alabama, Georgia. Sure. It's typically game day every year. And it just happened to be Penn State, Oregon whiteout night. So I think game day just wanted to make a change, who knows. But Alabama, big win. That's, I think, was really unexpected. They've been struggling a little bit this year. They're still Alabama.
Right.
But to get a win over Georgia, that's pretty big to get your season going.
It changes the outlook of what people thought. You lose against Florida State. Florida State gets ranked in the top 10. Florida State was 2-10 last year. They spent a lot of money to be 2-10. Worst offensive line in not just the ACC, in the FCS. They were letting everybody get a touch on DJ Uiagalelei. I can't even pronounce his name. It just didn't work out. It just did not work out for them. He was supposed to, potentially be a Heisman dark horse guy. It did not work out. They did not have a great season. They went 2-10, and then they look like they're back with a win over Alabama. And then they lay an egg against Virginia, who in recent years has really struggled. So it's week to week. It's very, very difficult to really predict this in the early going. It's almost like the ranking system probably shouldn't even be in place for the first few weeks. I don't really like it. You just kind of look at the rankings and you're like, wow, how do you really know this? Things change so much with the transfer portal, with experience, with coaching changes. There's just too much to rank these teams on early on. So, but yeah, there's been a lot of really good football games, and you're totally right. Alabama, Georgia, anytime that's a game, you probably think that, game day should be there as well. But, they came to Penn State. And I'll say this, too, about Penn State, and then we'll pivot right away from it. Penn State in the most attended games, the 4 most attended games, which have all been whiteouts, they're 0-4 all time, which is crazy to think about. So the atmosphere doesn't have as much of impact as we might think. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a great atmosphere. I think it's the best personally. But other teams, not bothered by it in big games, apparently. So, the credit to those other teams that have come into Beaver Stadium and won those football games. But yeah, still lots of season to go left, Brock. Arch Manning, he might be battling an injury. So what do you think about Arch Manning so far?
I'll be honest. During this offseason, I was kind of on the tank for Arch hype train, if you want to call it that. Off of that now, I think Arch is kind of struggled so far this year. You don't know if it's the pressure because he didn't look bad last year when he got in.
Right.
Obviously, he had Quinn Ewers in front of him, but it's just one of those things where maybe the hype, maybe the noise is maybe getting to him. I mean, he's a Manning. He's got a lot to live up to.
Sure.
He's at one of what has been one of the biggest programs in the country the last probably 10 years or so, and even before that, they had some great teams at Texas. It's odd. If he is battling an injury, you haven't heard too much about it, but it probably is something that teams would keep on kind of on the back burner. But I don't know. It's just been a weird season all around, especially for quarterback play. Carson Beck transferred from Georgia, and he's playing pretty well at Miami.
Absolutely.
He has them playing very well. You get a lot of people really fully sell on Carson Beck. Some other guys, Mateer from Oklahoma, he had a strong start to the year, but he's another guy battling some injuries.
Out for the year.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough to hear.
So that kind of leads into sort of what the draft may look like now. You have, and I kind of pivoted this towards the Steelers just because a 42-year-old QB who we'll get to later on in the show, but, who are they looking at? Do you want to try and tank for Arch again? I've been a big fan of Lenore Sellers. He's looked very well.
Yeah.
Other guys, Nussenmeyer, he's probably now a favorite to become a top 5, top 10 pick. Cade Klubnik, another guy. It's just, it's one of those things where the last year, I personally believe the quarterback class was pretty weak this past draft.
Yeah.
And I think it has a potential to kind of be a bust-ridden draft for quarterbacks again this year.
Yeah, and we were thinking a couple years ago, 2025 could have been loaded, and a lot of guys stayed back. And with the NIL and the experience they can get in college, they're seeing that they're not quite ready yet. They're not ready to run an offensive, system in the NFL, and they're not ready for the pressure. And they're just not ready to call the game yet at that level. So, I don't blame these young men for getting their degrees and taking that insurance route and then also taking the NIL money and making sure they're ready, truthfully. And then also with 2 years, you think about who has those picks and you stay you look one year and you're like, I don't really like those teams. Yeah. You stay another year, you might get a better shot at it. Somebody trades, things of that nature over an off season and things of that sort. But yeah, no, truthfully, it's going to be really difficult for the Pittsburgh Steelers unless they trade their picks. They have a lot of picks. I think they have 12 or 13 picks next draft. They're probably going to be in the middle again. They always seem to kind of be in that purgatory of the middle of the first round where, it's a hit or miss. You might stretch for a guy. I think they stretched on Kenny Pickett. Obviously, that's been proven to probably be true unless he really turns things around. But yeah, you kind of stretch second, third round guys to get them in the late first round once in a while. And you kind of take shots on people. So unless they trade up, I'm not really sure who they could get. They might have a chance to get somebody like Cade Klubnik now because he's had not a great year at Clemson. So, that's somebody that you could probably maybe keep your eyes on as well. I think Sellers is someone who I'd really like the Steelers to get. I don't think he's going to be there, though, Brock.
I don't think he
it's
will.
Be tough, so.
Yeah. We're going to be getting ready here for break again. Before we head into break, just what's kind of your prediction here for the college football playoff? Who do you have?
Yeah, I'm picking Ohio State over LSU. I think Brian Kelly cannot get it done, but Brian Kelly, I really think that he will have his team getting there. They're really, really talented, great quarterback play and great skill positions again. Their defense has also improved tremendously. Ohio State looks like the best team again, and it breaks my heart because I'm a Penn State guy, but yeah, Ohio State over LSU is who I have.
Yeah, for me, I think you'll see another year personally. I don't necessarily know which team it'll be. I think it could be an LSU. I think Ole Miss, if they go on a run, they can make it. But I personally think an SEC championship is probably what's going to happen again. Kirby Smart, I don't think he lets something like an Alabama loss happen again.
Yeah.
They're always a team to look out for. Ohio State, they very well could be. I don't really have a necessarily exact prediction, but I think if I had to guess right now, I'd probably go. Let's do a fun one. I'll go Ole Miss goes on a run. How about that?
That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
they're due.
They are.
They've been close for so many years in the loaded SEC. So, we'll see what they can do at Brock. I think that it's possibly well coached with Lane Kiffin. But yeah, this is a Main Street Sports Show sponsored by Redbank Chevrolet and Dubrook. We'll be right back.
This game is brought to you by Tionesta Builders? No. Tionesta Builders Supply. Family-owned and operated home improvement centers located in Tionesta and Shippenville. At First United National Bank Freiburg, the Fun Bank, we're more than a bank. We're your neighbor. From savings to home loans, we help you grow right where you belong. Stop in today and feel the difference at the Fun Bank.
NPRC helps me with the flexibility of the class times. I'm able to balance work, our hobbies of racing, and our family time in general with being able to take classes when it's convenient for me.
Affordable opportunities are endless at Northern Pennsylvania Regional College. If you're looking to start next semester or next year, apply now at discovernprc.org. discovernprc.org.
Redbank Chevrolet, Clarion County's trusted vehicle dealer. At Redbank Chevrolet, we're more than just a dealership. We're your neighbors, your go-to team for everything Chevy. From the moment you walk through our doors, we're here to exceed your expectations with unbeatable service, great selection, and a fun car buying experience. Stop by or schedule your visit today. Together, let's drive.
Since 1946, we've delivered. From commercial to residential, we've got you covered. We proudly serve and support our local communities. Call 844-DUBROOK or visit us online. Dubrook, your trusted ready-mix concrete supplier.
Good luck to all of our area teams from Clarion Ford Chrysler.
Local sales team. Local owners.
And remember to buy local at Clarion Ford Chrysler, where all your money stays to the local community.
At Clarion Forest VNA, we bring compassionate care to your doorstep. From skilled nursing to hospice services, we're here for you and your loved ones. Clarion Forest VNA, your trusted partner in home health care. Modern Living Solutions in Knox is always on the lookout for driven, positive individuals to join their team. They offer career growth opportunities and industry-leading pay. No experience is necessary as training is provided. Apply today and build a future with Modern Living Solutions.
You can afford a gorgeous, custom-designed hardwood Kales kitchen for a lot less than you'd pay at a DIY store. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. At Kales, there are never middleman markups or hidden charges that can add 40%. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. That's FactoryDirectKitchens.net.
For over 50 years, Carly Tire in Clarion has been keeping you rolling with quality tires for all your driving needs. And now, we're more than just tires. From state inspections to oil changes to brakes and total car care, Carly Tire is your one-stop shop to keep your vehicle safe and running smooth. Experience hometown service you can trust and quality you can count on. Carly Tire, the area's largest selection of tires. Stop in today and see why Clarion has trusted us for over 50 years.
Our focus has always been on you at Clarion County Community Bank. We're a full-service bank that offers the financial tools you need and the personal attention you deserve. You'll discover we're not just investing in our community, we're investing in you. Clarion County Community Bank.
Your eyes are the window to your soul, so take care of them. The Laurel Eye Clinic provides complete care from annual exams, glasses and contacts to cataract and retinal surgery, LASIK and more. As a trusted leader in family eye care for 50 years, you can trust them with yours. Call or visit us online today.
Need reliable plumbing or heating services? Call Luton's Plumbing and Heating. Fast, friendly, and available 24/7. Call them at 814-226-8695.
Hi, my name is Jason, and welcome to Sweet Basil. Come on in.
We're back here at the Haskell House, Main Street Sports Show, Redbank Chevrolet, also sponsored by Dubrook. Nate Steis here in studio with Brock Jordan. Let's bring it back with some NFL, Brock. You know, this is a great topic. It's been a pretty good season so far. Only 2 undefeated teams right now. It's really a week-to-week league. You know, we saw that Cleveland beating Green Bay a few weeks ago and you know, various other close games last weekend, and another upset, the Giants over the Chargers. Nobody really expected that, especially in Jackson Dart's first start and debut, rather. So, yeah, let's talk about the NFL, Brock. You know, it's been a good season so far.
Yeah, so to start off, when I said last year's draft class was weak, so far we're seeing that I probably wasn't too far off, but my favorite quarterback in the class was Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
And I think last week he came out, he beat the Chargers, who have had a great year so far.
Absolutely.
Obviously, he's a giant. They've had their struggles. You don't know whether it's coaching, whether it's, you know, starting to talk about MetLife a lot with injuries, things like that.
Yeah.
He's going to lose neighbors for the year. It's going to be tough to kind of rebound from that. But let's start off with the hometown team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers, I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm probably one of the biggest Aaron Rodgers fans you'll ever find. Was so happy when he signed with the Steelers. I predicted it on Twitter before it happened. I put still waiting for the Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers news. So far, I think personally it's worked out. Got the offense, the run game going last week in Ireland. Kind of the first time all year that they've got that run game going. Oddly enough, without Jalen Warren, who we thought coming into the year would be the bell cow. Caleb Johnson's having struggles. Yeah. I didn't like the pick when it happened, but I mean, you have to hope for the good pick. Yeah, so far 3-1, top of the North. You know, the North battling with some injuries. Could be their division to grab pretty easily.
Absolutely. I mean, we got Dylan Gabriel, Cooper Rush, Aaron Rodgers, and Jake Browning as the starting quarterbacks in the AFC North right now. And if you would have told me that would be the starting lineup, I'm like, Steelers are winning this division all day.
Yep.
And I will surely take that, Aaron Rodgers over those three. No offense to those guys that are in the NFL for a reason, but Aaron Rodgers he's in the GOAT conversation. I don't think he's the GOAT, but he's up there in the conversation. And even to be in the conversation shows how good you truly are. Tom Brady's the GOAT in my personal opinion. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. 3-1, pretty good start. They've won games in different ways, Brock. They've won games with turnovers where they didn't play their best ball, especially offensively. This week they run all over the place. Kenneth Gainwell, 2 touchdowns, 100+ yards. DK Metcalf, 100+ yards. Huge touchdown play. They finally got home. They got 5 or 6 sacks. Watt was getting in there. Harmon was wrecking things. Really good game. Holcomb got in there a little bit as well. So that was probably the most complete game they played against a Minnesota team that's very physical. Brian
Brian Flores,
well
yep.
Yeah.
Very good defenses the last few years.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's a very good win for the Steelers. The bye now, which hurts them later on with an old team, a very old football team. It's tough to get the bye now, but they come out and they play Cleveland with a young quarterback. That should be, you're thinking it could be a win, but it's week to week. You never really know, and it's a division game. But still, looks like a recipe for success. It could really favor the Pittsburgh Steelers here.
Oh, absolutely. I think you said it best. That Minnesota team, that's a very good to have a backup in. Carson Wentz is no slouch of a backup. First of all,
Yeah.
I mean, back their Super Bowl year, MVP front runner until he got hurt.
Absolutely.
Great game manager. Still has the mobility even after the leg injury.
Right.
You kind of look at the Steelers, the defense starting to get going like they should be. As long as we get to 9-8, right? But at least that's what some people think. I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
But like you said, the quarterbacks right now they're playing with Browning and Cooper Rush and Dylan Gabriel now. This is kind of a bad week for that bye to happen because while these other teams don't want to say losing, but set up to lose, those are where you want to be stacking your wins, especially if you're going to start playing them. I think the Steelers do have a recipe for success built so far. Like you said, DK Metcalf really starting to get involved. One point I do want to bring up with them, I think it's going to be interesting to see, the Calvin Austin injury. What do you do at wide receiver 2 now? He was kind of the guy for wide receiver 2. Skoranek, he's been in and out of the lineup, but do you trust him as a wide receiver 2? I don't know.
Yeah.
They still haven't seemed to have found the trust in Roman Wilson, who there was a lot of hype around out of the draft last year, a little bit of hype around out of camp this year. Where do you go? You're seeing maybe trade rumors circling. I've seen Chris Olave from the Saints rumors. Now these are, of course, just, I think, some Steelers fans that are hoping more than actually looking. Now, of course, you have A.J. Brown, who I think now you'll see Steelers fans thinking, oh, we're going to get A.J. Brown. Probably not going to happen. Just wouldn't even count that one as a possibility.
Right.
But I think that's going to be one of the big things coming out of the bye that they're going to have to find. Also, Jalen Ramsey. The secondary's been hurt all year this year. Now Jalen Ramsey out for a couple weeks probably. What's the secondary going to look like? Is Joey Porter Jr. going to be back? It's a bad week to have the bye week, but it's a good week to have the bye week to get some injured players rested up. So we'll see.
Yeah, Deshaun Elliott and Alex Highsmith on the starting defense too. They're also banged up. Elliott did come back last week. Highsmith is going to be out probably till at least November or late October maybe as well. But yeah, I mean, let's talk about the Giants a little bit more. They have the Steelers' old quarterback last year in Russell Wilson. He's now benched. Jackson Dart has now been thrown into the fire that is the New York media and the New York Football Giants. What did you think of him in his first start, and also what do you think about the possibility of Russell Wilson maybe being on the move here?
Like I said, Jackson Dart was my favorite quarterback coming out of the class. Am I surprised he didn't start week 1? No. I figured he would sit, especially signing guys like Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. I figured he's going to sit behind one of the vets. It was bound to happen. To have him thrown in there week 3 or week 4 already, it's sort of surprising to me, but I think it was more of a Brian Daboll has to make a move.
For sure.
And I think that was the move he went with. I so far obviously want to know with that move. You can't say it was a bad move yet. Beat a 3-0 team in the Chargers, who were looking like the favorites in the AFC West at that point in time. Right. Maybe not now. You saw the Chiefs last week really beat up on the Ravens.
Sure.
The Giants, their division, I mean, Philly's still just beating everybody. But the NFC wild card, it's open for the Giants if they start going on a roll here. I mean, 1-3 now. I think the NFC wild card, you could see an 8-9 team squeeze in there, and a rookie quarterback with, in my opinion, he's very mobile, but also has kind of the gunslinger mentality where I'm just going to throw it and they're going to be there.
Right.
And it's something that recipe for disaster, but also a recipe to win games. And I'm excited to see where that goes.
Yeah, I think they have their quarterback of the future. You know, at least I know we're not going to crown him after week 1, but he did some really good things. He's the first guy, Brock, since Patrick Mahomes in their debut to have a touchdown drive on their first drive as a starting quarterback. So that's been a decade since that's happened. That's pretty impressive stuff. And look, I know it's only one touchdown drive. It's only one game. I know. Let's not crown him. But he's got the mentality. He's got 2 great veteran quarterbacks in his room with him. And the football giants of New York, they have a strong defensive front to help him out. They might have the best front in football.
Oh, it's very possible.
When they've won the Super Bowls with Eli Manning, they had the best front 4 in the league both years. They're not too far away. I know it's still the Giants, but if you get Neighbors back next year and you get some other guys in there, keep working on the offensive line and get that defensive line to stay healthy as well, they're really, really not that far away. And with Philly really having a cap constraint coming up pretty soon, it could be their division very quickly.
Yep. And then we talk about Russell Wilson possibly back on the markets. Now, first of all, if you're a Jamar Chase drafter in fantasy this year, you hope he gets traded to the Bengals. You hope they get a quarterback that can throw a football. But, you know, I think he's going to be a hard guy to trade. Yeah. He didn't look bad against Dallas. Yep. The other 2 weeks, you don't want to say struggled, but he wasn't good. Yeah. And it's, like you said, it's the Giants. Struggles happen with them. Does he get moved? I don't know. Yeah. Is it possible? Absolutely. There's teams looking for quarterbacks. The Saints really still haven't found their guy, but I think, in my opinion, Spencer Rattler actually hasn't looked bad this year.
No, he hasn't.
He's just kind of in a odd spot with the Saints.
Sure.
Other teams I think you could maybe see on the lookout if the Lamar Jackson injury is worse than what we're being told, which a hamstring can be a 2-week injury or it can be a 6 to 8 week injury. You never know.
Yep.
Are they a team that, hey, we're going to bring in Russ to keep us alive, keep us afloat through the middle of the season until we know Lamar Jackson is healthy.
Right.
And then Russ can come back up Lamar. Is that something that I'm sure the Giants with a vet like Russell Wilson, they'll probably talk with him about it. They'll probably give him a little bit of say in where he goes, where he ends up. But, you know, another team, I mean, like we said, the Bengals, the Ravens. I think it's possible you could see him back in the AFC North this year. But no, anything's possible.
Yeah, I think you're right. The Ravens play a system. Old Russ would have really thrived in this system. The mobility's not quite there, but I do think Russell Wilson's better fit with the Lamar Jackson offense than Cooper Rush is, certainly. You know, when they had Robert Griffin III and McSorley, and Tyler Huntley, those guys fit that system better than Cooper Rush. So it's a weird change that they'll have to make here. They'll probably run the football a little bit more. Yep. Probably we'll see Justice Hill get a little bit more touches as well in the short passing game for Baltimore as well. So if he's out there, I would probably suggest picking up Justice Hill in fantasy football. But yeah, let's also talk about some of the surprises on the plus side and the negative side. Let's talk about teams like the Colts, the Bengals, the Ravens, and the Chiefs. The Colts, the surprise to the positive. The other 3, the surprise to the negative, although the Chiefs did get back on track last week.
Sort of unexpected from the Colts, for sure. You had a quarterback competition with 2 quarterbacks who really haven't found a way to win. But something interesting with Daniel Jones, not with the Colts, but keep in mind he did sign with the Vikings last year.
Sure did.
And if you paid attention to the Vikings, Kevin O'Connell is a quarterback savior.
Yeah, he is.
He saved Sam Darnold. He saved some other guys that
Dobbs.
Yeah, Josh Dobbs had some good weeks in Minnesota. He's one of those guys where, is that where Daniel Jones is getting to play from? Even those, 8 weeks, 6 weeks with Minnesota? I don't know, but Daniel Jones has looked great. I had a few interceptions here last week for their first loss, but that's a Rams team that's, in my opinion, probably the favorite to win the NFC West.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then with the Colts again, the AFC South totally up for grabs. C.J. Stroud started his rookie year phenomenal, had one of the best quarterback seasons for a rookie we've ever seen. Yep. Sophomore slump hit, 3rd year slump hitting. Yeah. They don't have a line. That's his biggest problem. I've watched them. It's just not. The running game struggled. It was good last year without a good line. Mixon's out now. They have good wide receiver. I loved their draft with the wide receiver room this year with the teammates from Iowa State, Higgins and Noel. Yeah. AFC South's up for grabs for the Colts, and I think starting out 3-1, 4-1, it's very possible that they probably will have the AFC South.
Yeah, I think it's very possible. And then you got to think the Liam Cohen coach Jaguars. They've looked pretty good as well. You know, they could threaten also. Let's not cut out the Texans either. They could turn things around. I don't think they personally will. Their line's not right. You cannot do much with it without a line. They don't have it. C.J. Stroud is running for his life back there. He did it last year as well, and it didn't get better. You traded Laramie Tunsil, one of the best offensive tackles in football. You trade him to Washington. That crushes your football team. Yeah, I feel bad for D'Amico Ryans. The personnel is just not there, so it's really going to take great defensive effort for them to possibly really pull off winning that division. The Titans are out of it. Truthfully, we knew it. Cam Ward is very upset.
He said it best in his press conference. We can't repeat what he said, but just know he knows they're not good.
Yeah, wasn't good. It was not good at all. Let's talk about the Bengals, though. Another slow start for them. The defense has been slightly better than people thought, but their offensive line continues to be bottom 5 in the NFL, Brock. It's just not good.
And you're starting to see the comparison with another guy that played his career without an offensive line and made him retire early in Andrew Luck with Joe Burrow.
Absolutely.
Joe Burrow, actually, in the same amount of games, Joe Burrow's taken more sacks than Andrew Luck did.
Sure has.
And you're starting, and do I think the Andrew Luck retirement was more abrupt than I think what people really talk about? Yes. I don't think that happens with Joe Burrow.
No.
But you're starting to see the signs where that's starting to be what the Bengals have to work on. And it's something that, like you said, with the Texans, without an offensive line, you're not going to win. No. And it's something that I think the Bengals will need to definitely look through, whether they look through the draft. I know the next few years have some strong linemen coming through. I know like Alabama has Caden Proctor. He's probably going to be a top 10 pick. So we'll see with the Bengals. Same thing with the Ravens. You know, injuries are going to hurt them this year, especially if Lamar's out for longer than expected. Derrick Henry, he's had 2 good weeks, 2 bad weeks. Yeah. He is what? I think 31 maybe?
Yeah.
Something like
just
that.
Just over the 30 mark, yep.
His time's coming. I mean, running backs don't last till 32 usually.
No.
And I think the Ravens are blessed with what they've gotten out of Derrick Henry so far. And with Lamar Jackson out, I think you could be wasting some of the final years of Derrick Henry if he's out for a long time. So we'll see with the Ravens. And then I guess the Chiefs, like we said, they've bounced back. The Chiefs are going to be the Chiefs. Overall, rookie-wise, we've seen guys like Hampton play well, especially now with the Najee Harris injury.
Right.
Henderson for the Patriots, starting to come along now with issues in the backfield for New England.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart, we already talked about. Talk about your possible Rookie of the Year pick in Tampa Bay there.
Yeah. Egbuka, oh my gosh, I wish the Steelers could have got him at wide receiver. Oh man, he has just been sensational with Chris Godwin out and now Evans out as well. He's carrying their offense, you know, with the wide receiver room. He is such a joy to watch. I hate it that he's from Ohio State, but you got to give credit where credit is due. Egbuka has been unbelievable for Tampa Bay, one of the best teams in the NFC so far. So, yeah, we're going to talk baseball here pretty soon here, Brock and I. This is Nate Steis, Brock Jordan, Main Street Sports Show here, sponsored by Redbank Chevrolet and Dubrook. We'll be right back.
Redbank Chevrolet, Clarion County's trusted vehicle dealer. At Redbank Chevrolet, we're more than just a dealership. We're your neighbors, your go-to team for everything Chevy. From the moment you walk through our doors, we're here to exceed your expectations with unbeatable service, great selection, and a fun car buying experience. Stop by or schedule your visit today. Together, let's drive.
Since 1946, we've delivered. From commercial to residential, we've got you covered. We proudly serve and support our local communities.
Good luck to all of our area teams from Clarion Ford Chrysler.
Local sales team. Local owners.
And remember to buy local at Clarion Ford Chrysler, where all your money stays to the local community.
Since 1946, we've delivered. From commercial to residential, we've got you covered. We proudly serve and support our local communities. Call 844-DUBROOK or visit us online. Dubrook, your trusted ready-mix concrete supplier.
At Clarion Forest VNA, we bring compassionate care to your doorstep. From skilled nursing to hospice services, we're here for you and your loved ones. Clarion Forest V&A, your trusted partner in home health care. Modern Living Solutions in Knox is always on the lookout for driven, positive individuals to join their team. They offer career growth opportunities and industry-leading pay. No experience is necessary as training is provided. Apply today and build a future with Modern Living Solutions.
You can afford a gorgeous, custom-designed hardwood Kales kitchen for a lot less than you'd pay at a DIY store. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. At Kales, there are never middleman markups or hidden charges that can add 40%. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. That's FactoryDirectKitchens.net.
For over 50 years, Carly Tire in Clarion has been keeping you rolling with quality tires for all your driving needs. And now, we're more than just tires. From state inspections to oil changes to brakes and total car care, Carly Tire is your one-stop shop to keep your vehicle safe and running smooth. Experience hometown service you can trust and quality you can count on. Carly Tire, the area's largest selection of tires. Stop in today and see why Clarion has trusted us for over 50 years.
Our focus has always been on you at Clarion County Community Bank. We're a full-service bank that offers the financial tools you need and the personal attention you deserve. You'll discover we're not just investing in our community, we're investing in you. Clarion County Community Bank.
Your eyes are the window to your soul, so take care of them. The Laurel Eye Clinic provides complete care from annual exams, glasses and contacts to cataract and retinal surgery, LASIK, and more. As a trusted leader in family eye care for 50 years, you can trust them with yours. Call or visit us online today.
Alrighty, back here at the Haskell House for the Redbank Chevrolet Main Street Sports Show, sponsored also by Dubrook. Brock Jordan here with Nate Steis. Nate, let's get into baseball. Playoff time. First of all, let's start with the Pirates. I think they're pretty easy to go by. You know, the typical 70-win season, 72 wins. Pitching was good. Hitting was awful, kind of as expected. Just talk about them maybe for a minute or two, and then we'll get into the real teams.
Yeah, you know, in our lifetimes, Brock, we've seen 3 times where they made the postseason. It just sucks, you know. Growing up with a dad who loved the Pirates as a kid in the 70s, the late 60s, the early 80s, they were still good as well. And then in the early 90s, they were incredible. I just haven't seen that. I'm jealous of my dad and some of those guys that have seen the Pirates be so successful. I'm still holding on to the 2013 win over the Reds. That's just not enough to hold on to. It's like for Penn State fans hold on to the Ohio State win in 2016. It's the same thing. We can't hold on to that stuff. So we got to get this team right. It's a shame what's going on down there in Pittsburgh with not spending money. But yeah, historically terrible offense. Cal Raleigh. Let's talk about the stats. It's incredible. Cal Raleigh had 23 home runs, possibly the AL MVP, in the 7th inning or later. The Pittsburgh Pirates as a team, Brock, 22 home runs for their starting 1 through 9 most combined lineup. They had 22. So Cal Raleigh, one guy, had more home runs than the Pirates starting 9 in the 7th inning or later. You're not going to win with that kind of offense. You're
absolutely
just
not.
You're just not.
And then, like I said, on to the real teams here, the teams that want to win. The wild card series started last night. Couple pretty impressive outings. Garrett Crochet looked fantastic. Actually, Max Fried looked fantastic for the Yankees too in that game. Yeah. Just kind of the bullpen was a little bit of a letdown there. Yeah. Red Sox took the lead in that series 1-0, and the winner will get Toronto, who, in my opinion, had probably one of the sneakiest division wins that I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
The last couple weeks of the season, I was looking at the standings, and I'm just like, since when was Toronto up here? I think they won the trade deadline with Shane Bieber, and they're going to be good. Talk about, Tigers Guardians. I know Tigers won game 1 yesterday with Tariq Skubal on the mound, but the Guardians came back, won today.
Yeah, so 1-1 there. But what's more impressive is the run they went on even to get to the postseason. 3 weeks ago, I'm with my dad in the car. We're talking about, who's going to make it. We said, no, Cleveland's out.
Yep.
They were 14 and a half games out of, being in the division lead, not quite as much in the wild card. They get into the playoffs. One of the craziest runs ever. I mean, we talk about the 69 amazing Mets. The Guardians they overcame more of a lead than the amazing Mets in 69. It's incredible what they've done. And now they're evened up. And if they take out the Tigers, who they really took out the last week of the season to get that division title, Oh, what a story.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. And Cleveland fans, they're waiting for a World Series. It's been 1948, the drought. You know, they're due. So let's see if Cleveland can get it done in Game 3 and get into the next round.
And if they win this round, I think they're personally in another round with another team that's due with Seattle.
Absolutely.
Probably a top 5 pitching staff in baseball this year with Brian Wu, Logan Gilbert, all of them. That's going to be a tough series, too, for whoever comes out with the Tigers and Guardians series. You know, like we said, they're tied 1-1. We'll go just to the next series here, Cubs-Padres. Cubs won yesterday. Last time I checked, Padres were up pretty handedly. I think it was like 4-0, 5-0, maybe, something like that tonight. Winner of that one gets the Brewers. Should be a fun series in the second round, whoever gets out of there.
Yeah, this isn't... The Brewers have been a good team for a long time, and they just cannot win in the postseason. I don't know if this is the same old Brewers. As a Pirates fan, I hope it's the same old Brewers because I kind of like to see the misery that comes with October for Brewers fans not being able to ever get it done. But yeah, this is a really good Brewers team. They really hit the crap out of the ball. They have exceeded expectations for them. They were maybe a borderline playoff team. The Reds obviously was another team, and the Cubs, you know, pretty good NL Central this year overall. But yeah, the Brewers they're low. They can really hit the ball, some decent pitching, and they're due. They are so due to get it done. They've been good for, you know, the last decade, and they just haven't really won many playoff games, truthfully.
Right, and then last wild card series, Reds-Dodgers. I think there's probably a pretty well-voted ending there with probably the Dodgers, but the Reds, you never know. That pitching staff, they really came alive.
They did.
The Ellie De La Cruz had an awful, from August 1st on, just awful.
Ooh.
If he picks it back up to where he was before then, Reds could take this series from the Dodgers before they even realized it. Winner of that one gets the Phillies, who knows what happens. But talking about the Dodgers, and we're going to get into the awards section now, I think we agree on the NL MVP.
Yeah.
Got to be Ohtani.
Yeah. You know, it's getting lost in the shuffle. He set his own personal best with 55 home runs. He had 54 last year, 55 this year. Last year, you know, he founded the 50-50 club. All right, he didn't have 50 plus stolen bases this year. He only stole 20, only 20. You know, that's pretty good. It's better than most people ever steal. You know, in their career. You know, it's pretty impressive stuff. But yeah, the Dodgers. You know, Shohei Ohtani got it done on the mound. You know, some decent pitching. You know, I know he only got one game, but he struck out like 60 plus batters and only like 40 some odd innings of work. You know, he's done very, very well, you know, even in limited innings. But yeah, the hitting, just absolutely off the charts, you know, just unbelievable stuff. You know, let's talk about the stats specifically. 14 games pitched, 47 innings, a win, 62 strikeouts, sub-3 ERA. And then at the dish, 282 batting average, a career high, 55 home runs, 102 RBIs, 20 stolen bases, 146 runs scored, 1.014 OPS, 172 hits, 622 slugging. They walked the guy 109 times, for crying out loud, and a 392 on-base percentage. What a year for Shohei Ohtani.
Yep, and unfortunately for a guy like Kyle Schwarber, who also had an incredible year.
Sure did.
Probably the MVP if Ohtani's still in the American League.
Yeah.
Just unreal from Ohtani, unreal stuff from him.
Yeah.
Let's skip over the AL MVP race, because I think that one could be the one that has the biggest question mark.
Certainly.
So we'll get to that one last.
Right.
NL Cy Young, I believe it's possible that it becomes a unanimous vote for Paul Skeens, the one bright spot. Well, I shouldn't say the one. The pitching staff was good. But the bright spot for the Pirates, Paul Skeens, I think it's unanimous there. A 1.97 ERA, 10-10 record with a 1.97 ERA is absolutely crazy. Should not happen. Pirates should be ashamed.
It's criminal.
It is. Only 23. Should have him for 3 years, and then he becomes a Yankee.
Probably, yeah.
But, I mean, just talk about Paul Skeens.
Oh, my gosh. You know, to start the All-Star game twice before you're even 24 years old, 2 years in a row, probably going to get an NL Cy Young award. You know, the notoriety around the guy. You know, he's got the babe, you know, with him as well. Libby Dunn. You know, that's a lot of pressure with her around you as well. And he doesn't phased by anything.
Nope,
he just goes out there and operates. And it is criminal that he was a 500 pitcher with a sub-2 ERA. He's had a sub-2 ERA in both years so far. It's just truly remarkable what this young man is doing. And we also kind of forget sometimes the guy's been pitching seriously for 4 years. He was a catcher. He was a catcher at Air Force. He pitched a little bit. He hit at Air Force. He hit very well at Air Force. He goes to LSU, and they go, no, you are special. And I can attest. I've seen him in person in the minor leagues in Erie. I've never seen a guy, the ball explode out of his hands like Paul Skeens. It's almost effortless. It looks like he hardly throws it, and it comes in high 90s, 100 miles per hour almost every time. So we are so blessed with Paul Skeens here in Pittsburgh. We got to take advantage of it because I don't think he's re-signing in a few years. Probably a trade candidate, unfortunately, within the next 3 years.
Yeah,
truly.
and then we'll skip AL Cy Young too because I think that could be another race, although I think it will lean one way. 2 Rookie of the Years. I think you're going to see Kurtz from Oakland win the AL. He kind of ran away with it. Actually, the Athletics probably had the 2 front runners. They had the front runner in the beginning of the season with Jacob Wilson.
Yep.
Then the second half of the season, Kurtz came along and just absolutely mashed the ball. Probably already a top 5 first baseman in the league.
Yeah.
Not really probably much of a race there. You may see a guy, I mean, it's hard to tell. It really is, but I just don't think there's a race there. The NL Rookie of the Year race gets a little fun. Drake Baldwin from the Braves, or Cade Horton from the Cubs. I think Baldwin comes away with this one. I think personally, Horton was injured and he was a late May call-up, I believe. I think that just hurts him a little bit in the race. I think Baldwin played well all year. I think it's his award to win. But let's talk about now the MVP and the Cy Young for the AL. I think Judge versus Raleigh, I personally think it's going to go Judge. Do I think it should go Judge? I don't know. I understand the argument for both. Raleigh, just an unprecedented year as a catcher, switch hitting catcher. So what's kind of your take on that race?
Yeah, you can't go wrong either way. The reason that I want Cal Raleigh to win it. Judge has had his. He's probably going to get more. What Cal Raleigh did is so interesting to manage that pitching staff that's possibly arguably the best in baseball. Very good pitching staff. To be a switch hitter, to win the home run derby, and just keep the consistent pace throughout. It was truly remarkable to watch. He hit a record 60 home runs for catchers, a Mariners record 60 home runs. Ken Griffey Jr. he passed, and he passed Johnny Bench and Salvador Perez on the way to getting the record for catchers all time as well. It was truly remarkable what he did from both sides of the plate. And like I said earlier, 23 home runs past the 7th inning. He's hitting in the clutch all year too, and not just getting hits, but hitting bombs. It was truly amazing to watch. And he has lived up to everything that the Mariners wanted him to be. I believe he was a 3rd-round pick. He has been fantastic for the Mariners. Could be the cornerstone for them really turning things around. The first division title they've had since 2001. It's been 25 years. That was a 2001 Mariners team, Brock, that won the most games ever for a team within the 162-game era. So, this has been quite a turnaround for the Mariners. They got a lot of pieces there, and Cal Raleigh is certainly one that they're excited about. I would personally pick Cal Raleigh. I really want him to win it, but I think Aaron Judge with a higher OPS, still hitting 50-plus home runs with missing a month time about with injury. I mean, it's truly unbelievable. He probably would have set his own record for AL home runs if he would have stayed healthy. It's very possible, but I want Cal Raleigh to win, to manage that pitching staff and hit that way. We might never see it again.
Yeah, talking about pitching staffs, AL Cy Young, I think is a race that's a lot closer than what people talk about.
Yeah.
Skubal and Garrett Crochet. Garrett Crochet came out last night, dominated the Yankees. Skubal dominated the Guardians, 14 strikeouts last night. I think that race could be a fun one. I think Skubal gets the nod again. I don't think Cy Young's out of contention for Garrett Crochet at some point in his career, though.
Absolutely not.
If Skubal gets away from the AL, I think the award's Crochet's to win every year.
For sure.
It really is. I think it's going to be a fun race.
I'm picking Skubal as well. He had a great year. I think this will be back-to-back for him, if I'm not mistaken. And it's really shaping up in 2026 for him to get paid very handsomely.
Yes.
$40+ million a year is not out of the question. Could be the highest paid pitcher of all time at that point in time. He is making a nice case for that as well. And he's an underdog. He was like a 0-star recruit out of high school. He has lived up to way more than anybody has ever expected of him. A very, very great record. I believe it was 14-5 on the season for him. Sub-3 ERA. I think he was 2nd in the league in strikeouts, only behind Crochet, who had a great season in his own right. Crochet leads in strikeouts. But yeah, I think it's Skubal's again. Amongst a very, really good, well-rounded pitching staff with the Tigers, he's the standout star. And I think he's going to get a second one here. That's just my pick. What do you think?
I think it's Skubal's award. I really do. I love the Crochet pickup for the Red Sox. And it seems like every time somebody gets out of Chicago for the White Sox, I think they produce pretty well. And the Red Sox just do well with pitchers that they get from other teams. You looked at Chris Sale when he was a Red Sox, guys like that. Almost like identical, White Sox to Red Sox, Sale and Crochet both. Two lefties, flamethrowers. I think it's still Skubal's award to win, though. Just to wrap things up here, World Series prediction. What do you got?
Yeah. This is not fun for me to pick because I logically I'm picking this. I'm not picking this from my heart because if I was, I'd pick the Pirates and I'd still wish they'd win it. But they're obviously not in the postseason. Who I think is going to win? I've been on this all year. I haven't been on the losing team. I've been on the winning team all year. I'm picking the Phillies. Kyle Schwarber is in a contract year. If he wins, helps them win a World Series, I can't imagine the amount of money that the teams are going to throw at him. He probably won't be a Philly any longer. No. He might just pick whatever, blank check from anybody. I'm sure Philly might try to throw a blank check at him as well. But yeah, if they went, they're so due. They've been there a few times. They lost World Series. They've been to the NLCS a few times. They've spent a lot of money. They got Bryce Harper there as well. Very good pitching staff that didn't always pitch up to its standard this year for everybody, but still very, very complimentary and good. And now you only need them to win a few more games and you're a World Series champion team. So I'm picking the Phillies on the American League side. I want the Mariners to get there so bad. They are such a feel-good story. They've been down and out for a long time. Didn't make the postseason for 20 years until a few years ago. They got a really, really exciting team. Julio Rodriguez, Cal Raleigh, Brian Woo's pitched unbelievable this year for them as well. And, just great compliments around them. Josh Naylor, they get Josh Naylor. He is stealing bases now. He's hitting bombs again. Didn't have the greatest year in Cleveland. They got rid of him, and he is really turning it around. And Mariners, just a change of scenery has really helped them. So I'm thinking the Mariners. I really think they're a well-rounded ball club. It's going to be tough to beat them in a series. So I'm going Phillies over Mariners. Phillies are due. Mariners, I think, could make a nice run.
Yeah, on my end, actually, I think I don't know which team I'd pick to win, but I think coming out of the AL, I do have the Mariners.
Yeah.
And that pitching staff's been great all year. Tough. It's not often where you see a pitching staff pitch like that and not perform at least probably to 80% of what they performed in the regular season, especially coming off of a bye. Yep. But I also think they have the easiest stretch to get there. They have the winner of Detroit, Cleveland, who Detroit had their struggles. So if they get out of that series, who knows? And the offense has really been the question mark for them this year with a good pitching staff. I think Seattle can get through that series pretty handedly. Right. For the NL, I have whoever wins the Dodgers-Phillies series because I'm just going to assume the Dodgers beat the Reds. Yeah. I don't know that it'll happen, but I'm sure they're heavily favored. And whoever wins that Dodgers-Phillies series, I think, wins the NL pennant. And at that point, you have a Mariners-Phillies or a Mariners-Dodgers World Series. I'm kind of with you on the train of I'd like to see the Mariners win it. Do I think they do? If it's Phillies-Dodgers, probably not. But if they do, it'll be because of their pitching staff.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good pitching. The Pirates have it. Let's get some hitters this offseason, Bob and company. Yeah. This has been an awesome show here.
Absolutely.
Brock Jordan, Nate Steis, Main Street Sports Show, sponsored by Redbank Chevrolet and Dubrock. Thanks for listening. We really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you folks. Until next time, have a good night.